A lone woman dragged her limp through the biting snow, every step sinking deep into the frozen ground. The wind howled, erasing her tracks as fast as she could make them. In her coat pocket, a forged passport. In her mind, the death warrant Hitler signed with her name on it. She wasn't running from the storm. She was running from the Gestapo. And this woman, with a wooden leg, was the most dangerous Allied spy in France. She wasn't James Bond. She didn't drive fast cars, didn't have gadgets, and didn't sip martinis. But she fooled the Gestapo, built spy networks, and helped win World War II, all while limping through enemy territory with one leg. Today, we're going deep into the life of a woman who defied gender roles, Nazi hunters, and even her own government just to do the right thing. Let's rewind to the 1930s America. Virginia Hall was born into a wealthy Baltimore family in 1906. She was smart, independent, and ambitious. The kind of kid who'd rather read books on war strategy than go to tea parties. Her dream? To become a US diplomat. But America in the 1930s? Not exactly built for ambitious women. The State Department basically told her, thanks, but no thanks. They were only accepting a few women per year. Still, Virginia pushed on. She went to college in the US, studied languages in France and Austria, and landed a few low-level diplomatic jobs in Europe. But everything changed in 1933, the year Hitler rose to power, as the world edged closer to war. Virginia was already in Europe, watching it happen firsthand. And then, the accident. While on a hunting trip in Turkey, Virginia slipped climbing a fence. Her shotgun went off, and just like that, she accidentally blew off part of her foot. Gangrene set in. Doctors had to amputate her entire left leg below the knee. She was 27. And now, with a wooden leg she nicknamed Cuthbert, Virginia's dream of becoming a diplomat was over. The US Foreign Service had a policy: no amputees allowed. You'd think this would have stopped her. But no, it just made her more dangerous. In 1940, Nazi Germany invaded France. The country fell in just 6 weeks. While most people were fleeing, Virginia stayed. She signed up as an ambulance driver with the French army, then fled to Britain once France was fully occupied. And here's where the real story begins. While in London, Virginia did something bold. She approached British intelligence. The Special Operations Executive, or SOE, was recruiting spies, people who could blend into occupied Europe and cause trouble behind enemy lines. Virginia applied. She spoke fluent French and German. She knew the terrain. And she had a wooden leg that made her the least likely person you'd ever expect to be a spy. And that was perfect. The SOE took her in, trained her, taught her sabotage, cryptography, radio operations, disguise. Then they dropped her back into Vichy, France, alone. Virginia arrived in Lyon in 1941. Her cover identity? An American journalist. That wooden leg? She turned it into an asset. Locals and Nazis alike called her the Limping Lady, not knowing that she was quietly organizing the French resistance. She built an entire network of informants, couriers, and radio operators. She coordinated sabotage missions, smuggled out downed Allied pilots, and passed intelligence back to London, all while avoiding Gestapo agents who were hunting her relentlessly. She once arranged for a German general to be kidnapped. That's not a metaphor. She literally organized a full-on kidnapping behind enemy lines. The Gestapo started calling her the most dangerous of all Allied spies. They had her sketch, her fake name, her cover story, and a reward for anyone who turned her in. But she was always one step ahead. At one point, the Gestapo almost caught her. Her cover was blown. They were closing in. So what did Virginia do? She disguised herself as an elderly French peasant woman, complete with wrinkles, a hunched back, and gray hair. She filed down her teeth to change her bite marks. She blackened her face with dirt and shuffled out of the city. She escaped on foot 50 miles over the Pyrenees Mountains into Spain, with a prosthetic leg. Try walking across snow-covered mountains with a wooden leg. That's what she did. It was so brutal that she radioed London saying, "If Cuthbert causes trouble, I'll have to leave him behind." The SOE didn't know what Cuthbert was. They thought it was another spy. She was arrested in Spain for crossing illegally, spent weeks in jail, and was finally released. And when she returned to London, she volunteered to go right back into France. In 1944, the Americans created their own spy agency, the Office of Strategic Services, the predecessor to the CIA. They recruited Virginia immediately. Her mission? Return to France again, this time in the lead up to D-Day. But the Gestapo still knew her face. So Virginia changed everything. She dyed her hair, wore peasant clothes, walked with a new limp, and adopted the persona of a farm woman selling cheese. No one suspected the cheese lady was coordinating parachute drops, weapons caches, and guerrilla attacks all across Nazi territory. She trained resistance fighters, helped blow up bridges and trains, and fed vital intel to the Allies before and after D-Day. It's said that thanks to her work, Nazi supply lines in southern France were completely disrupted, making the Allied invasion far easier. When the war ended, Virginia didn't write a book. She didn't give interviews. She didn't go on tours or brag about her missions. She simply went home. In 1947, she joined the newly formed CIA. She was their first female field operative. But even then, her male bosses underestimated her. She was buried in a desk job. They thought she was too disabled or old school for modern espionage. So she faded into the background, a woman who had done more for Allied intelligence than most men ever would, now ignored by the very agency she helped build. VirginiaHall died in 1982, quietly, without public recognition. It wasn't until years later that her story started to resurface. She was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross, one of America's highest honors, but received it in secret. No ceremony, no parade. She didn't look like a hero. She didn't want fame. She just did the job, quietly, bravely, and better than anyone expected. VirginiaHall's story isn't just about espionage. It's about resilience, about how someone told no at every stage of life. Too young, too disabled, too female, still managed to change the course of history. She didn't let her missing leg define her. She didn't let the rules stop her. And she never stopped fighting, not for glory, not for medals, but because it was the right thing to do. And in a world full of loud heroes and flashy stories, maybe we need more spies like Virginia, silent, smart, and unstoppable.